Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is October 29th, 2023, and here in Bexar County, we are about to receive a pretty significant temperature drop. Right now, if you look closely, you might see that I'm sweating a little bit still. I've been pretty much packing up all the stuff that I brought back with me from my camping trip, and part of the process had some sweat there. Part of the process involved drying out my tent and the tent floor. The footprint is what it's called. And to do that, I was able to use some of these handy guitar grips and string the footprint and the tent up using those extra hands that I have all throughout the walls here. And so the drying process was relatively easy compared to how I would have done it in the past if I didn't have some extra hands helping out here. And that kind of got me to thinking about all of the adversity that I went through while I was on my camping trip. My cot broke. Also, one of my pillows sprung a leak. This one right here. And what else? Well, the rain happening right after my cot broke basically caused me to sleep on the damp ground for a couple of nights. And so I had to, of course, like I said, dry out the tent here. That all was part of the adventure, you know, just like seeing the imagery that we see around one another at this time of year. It's part of the adventure. And so we can look at different factions of and fractions of factions and see that there's different creativity in every one. And so for me to walk around and see things like the quote unquote pagan ritualistic holiday type decorations, like for an example, the Halloween decoration that is up throughout the neighborhoods in some areas, some countries maybe. And to see all of that, it gives me an appreciation for everybody's creativity. And some people's creativity tends to be a little bit on the darker side. Some people's is more on the humorous side. But there are no sides that I see where I am hateful towards the expression, the individual expression of another one of his creations, his children. You know, depending on how you're seeing it, everybody can view things from their own perspective based on their own circumstances, and we shouldn't be hostilely looking at those differences. And when we do, essentially, that's basically kind of downplaying the message in most messages of peace. In this country, for an example, the text that we generally were introduced to says something along the lines of, take this and eat from this. This is my body. Take this and drink from this. This is my blood. These thoughts, if we're supposed to ask ourselves, well, what would the peacemaker do? These thoughts should be pretty standard practice, standardized. And so if you had a standardized test as far as how someone would respond in the face of adversity, there are probably certain people who would respond in additional violence, swearing, and in drama, you know, things that are typically outcomes of not controlling one's self. So self-control helped me to overcome the adversity. But at the same time, while I was in the place where I was at camping, I was able to physically make some rapid progress a little bit differently than I am here in the city. So again, I tend to think that I'm plugged in to an energy source. And that energy source has an understanding that truth is truth. And so for that reason, it can't really denounce. It can be angry at first and throw a tantrum. But what's due in a place will be essentially delved out to where it's due. In other words, karma will always be satisfied. And in this particular case today, day 28 of having run 1 continuous mile nonstop, I also was able to lift my my torso and head off of the ground when I was doing a back bridge. That's not to say that I could get very much clearance, but also I was able to push myself up quite a bit further than before directly from the ground, and I was able to do 2 full pull-ups. And those are things that I couldn't have done without exercising, but also I needed to heal. So however we believe, whether we believe one way or the other, we have to lend a little bit of credibility to the concept of spirituality, even when we see things that we think are distracting imagery, pagan, devilish, whatever we might think that we see. How we judge it, well, how I judge things is up to me. How you judge things, I won't even say who it's up to. I'll just give you the ability to reflect on that. Until next time, thank you so much for watching this journey. Peace, love, and all that old school stuff.